The movie begins with Adrian, a young and promising orchestra conductor, watching a video message from his girlfriend Belen. In the video, Belen tells Adrian that although she still loves him, she can't continue their relationship and is leaving. She asks him not to follow her. Heartbroken, Adrian goes to the washroom, splashes water on his face, takes a sip of his drink, and drives off into the rain. He stops at a bar to drown his sorrows. A waitress named Fabiana approaches and asks what he wants to drink. Adrian orders whiskey. Fabiana comments to her friend that she doesn't like seeing grown men cry. Her friend says that men only cry when they're guilty, but Fabiana disagrees. Later, she tells Adrian that the bar is closing drunk. Adrian stumbles into another guy in the parking lot, and they start fighting. The guy's girlfriend intervenes and drives him away. Fabiana offers to drive Adrian home. During the ride, they have a good time with Adrian conducting the music playing on the radio at her place. Fabiana lets him to sleep off his hangover on her couch. The next morning, Adrian wakes up and is disoriented, doesn't know where he is. Fabiana asks about the previous night and his misery, but Adrian remains silent. He drinks his coffee quickly and leaves without saying goodbye. Fabiana watches him leave from her window. Later, Adrian conducts a class but becomes too distracted to continue that night. He returns to the bar to apologize to Fabiana for his behavior and asks if she can sit with him. She replies that she has to work, so Adrian invites her to the theater where he works. He shows her around and explains the different instruments. They connect instantly and are about to kiss. When Fabiana stops him, she asks if he is married or has a girlfriend. Adrian tells Fabiana that he is neither married nor in a relationship, and they end up going to his house, where they spend the night together. The next morning, Fabiana wakes up early and notices 2 toothbrushes in the bathroom after brushing her teeth. She starts hearing strange noises from the curious. She explores Adrian's mansion. She meets his German Shepherd and finds shoe design drawings on a table clearly belonging to someone else. Just as she starts examining the drawings, Adrian arrives and invites her to breakfast to distract her from the drawings during breakfast. Fabiana comments on the size of Adrian's house and asks why he doesn't live in the city. Adrian explains that he needs peace to fulfill his creative needs. Fabiana inquires if he has to work today, and he replies that he doesn't invite her to stay the night, which she agrees to later. 2 detectives, Francesco and Bernardo, arrive at the house and begin asking questions about Belle's disappearance. Fabiana is startled when she sees Bernardo, indicating they know each other. The detectives reveal that Belen vanished without a trace, and they are investigating Adrian as the primary suspect. They search the house and ask about Belen. Adrian shows them the workstation she used. The detectives then begin searching the garden, which frustrates Adrian. He is concerned that they might suspect him of having harmed Belen and hiding her body outside. Adrian believes that Belen left him to start a new life with someone else. He tried to contact her family, but no one responded. The detectives find no evidence linking Adrian to Belle's disappearance. Later that night, Fabiana takes a bath and hears strange noises from the drain. She notices the water moving, even though she's still startled. She jumps out of the bath and runs to Adrian. A lightning storm causes a powerhouse, making Fabiana scream. Adrian calms her, explaining that such disturbances are common during storms as they are about to get intimate. Fabiana notices Adrian's dog staring at a glass cupboard and feels uncomfortable. She asks Adrian to take the dog out the next night. Fabiana talks with her friend Detective Bernardo. They used to date, which is why she was alarmed to see him at Adrian's mansion. Bernardo questions her about dating someone who was a suspect in his girlfriend's disappearance. Fa insists that Adrian had nothing to do with it and that Belen left on her own. Bernardo bitterly remarks that it seems Fabiana chose a wealthy man over a detective with a low salary. Later, Adrian and Fabiana attend an orchestra performance conducted by Adrian. Afterward, Adrian introduces her to his manager Tito, who mentions that they will never forget Adrian. It's revealed that Adrian plans to leave his job soon. Fabiana, now seemingly living with Adrian, is in the shower when the water so suddenly gets very hot, burning her shoulder. She turns off the tap, but the water remains hot, causing her to scream. As she checks her burn in the mirror, she hears the strange noise from the sink again, startled by the bathroom door opening behind her. She finds it was just Hans the dog. Later, as Fabiana enjoys herself by jumping on the bed, she finds a key-shaped necklace under a floor grate. She puts it around her neck. The lights go out suddenly, and she thinks she hears someone. She grabs a fire poker and calls out, but he scares her again. She slips, hits her head on the piano, and faints. When Adrian returns, he helps her and gives her painkillers and a glass of water. Fabiana expresses her discomfort about being alone in the mansion. Adrian reassures her, saying it was just bad luck with the lights and Fabiana tells Adrian that she believes there's a ghost in the house. Adrian laughs it off, but Fabiana insists and takes him to the bathroom, asking him to listen to the sink where she heard strange noises. Adrian suggests it might be the wind in the pipes and jokingly warns the ghost to be careful, despite his dismissal. Fabiana remains concerned about the noise. The next morning Adrian receives a call from the detectives. They have found a body that resembles Belen and ask him to identify it. At the morgue, Adrian confirms that the body is not Belen, despite the pathologist saying the body is too damaged by fire to be identified. Clearly returning home, Adrian hears Fabiana saying sorry to someone upstairs. He questions her, but Fabiana claims she was quoting a book and avoids further explanation. Adrian reassures her that Belen is out of his life and she doesn't need to worry as they hug. Fabiana notices a figure behind the mirror. It's Belen. A flashback reveals Adrian and Belen riding bicycles together. Adrian is cooking and shares the news that he has gotten his dream job as an orchestra conductor in another country. He will leave in 15 days for about a year. Belen is upset by this, as it means leaving her life behind, but her love for Adrian convinces her to go, provided he loves her and won't leave her. The flashback continues with Adrian conducting the orchestra while Belen watches. After the concert, Belen finds Adrian talking to a violinist named Veronica, which raises her suspicions about an affair. The couple then searches for a new home in the city and ends up renting a mansion owned by a German woman who is moving back to Berlin. The woman rents out the place on the condition that they take care of her dog. Hans, Belen and AD move in and start unpacking, appearing deeply in love. Belen later visits a leather factory to find materials for a shoe design. She receives a call from the German woman who wants to visit. Before this visit, Belen finds Adrian and Veronica having a private chat in his office with whiskey, which makes her angry. She leaves, questioning Adrian about whether he is flirting with other musicians. Adrian assures her that nothing is wrong, and the two make up during the night. The next morning, while Adrian is showering, Belen goes through his phone and finds messages between the two of them. As Adrian is about to leave, she asks him again why he and Veronica have been calling and texting each other. Adrian confesses that he has been flirting with Veronica, but nothing more happened. She wants him to fire Veronica from the orchestra, but Adrian denies his girlfriend's request and leaves for work on the same day. The German woman comes to their house, and Belen tells her all about her problems. Belen is curious what Adrian would do if would die or go missing, and the German lady says that her husband was also involved in work. The lady tells her that she should act on this idea to find out if Adrian really loves her. Then she asks Belen whether she can keep a secret or not. Belen says she can, and the lady shows Belen a secret room, which they built in order to hide her husband in case someone came to look for him. The chamber is soundproofed and self-contained. There is a one-way see-through glass where she can see everything happening. On the other side, there is a speaker in the room, so every conversation from outside can be heard now. Only she and Belen know about this chamber. The lady leaves the mansion and tells her she is going to call her when she gets to Berlin, and Belen thanks her for sharing her secret with her. Belen hatches a plan to get back at Adrian for his actions with Veronica. Belen decides to record the video and head into the shelter room to find out what Adrian does if she goes missing. She is packing her stuff to make the story of leaving more believable when Adrian suddenly arrives and drives home. She grabs her stuff in a hurry, but the key falls into the vent unnoticed. She heads inside and locks the door on herself. She observes Adrian's reaction to the video. She is happy because he seems heartbroken. Adrian calls Belen, but her mobile phone cannot be reached. He sends a voice message, telling her that he has taken a look at the video and he doesn't understand Adrian. Adrian seems distraught, and he throws the bouquet he had brought for Belen toward the mirror. When she wants to get out of the room to reuse the night with Adrian, she realizes that she didn't bring the key with her, so she is trapped in the room. She starts hitting the glass and screaming for Adrian to help her. The room being completely soundproof makes her scream inaudible for Adrian. Her phone has no signal in the room. In desperation, she even tries to unlock the door with the other house's keys. She then starts bashing the glass with a chair, but it has no use. She continues to watch Adrian and calls out for help, but Adrian cannot see her, and she sees the level of hurt she has caused. Adrian takes the video to the police, and they ask him if he has suspected someone, but Adrian says that he doesn't know anyone. He also tells them that the night before they had a couple spat. The officer tells him that there are no traces of murder or kidnapping and that they would contact the immigration office and see if Belen had left the country or not. Meanwhile, Belen checks every corner of the room when she finds the late husband's uniform in a closet. She proceeds to read a journal and finds out that the lady's husband used to be an SS officer during World War II, so she finds a can opener and starts craving a hole in one of the walls. She also manages to find old can food inside one of the drawers. She tries to eat the food, but it is already spoiled, so she spits it out. She tries to wash the taste out with the water from the tap, but the water is brown due to the old pipes. Despite this, it is enough for her to survive for a while later. Hidd3n watches the video one last time and wishes Bellin all the best. Bellin is furious, feeling that Hidd3n should wait for her like the loyal dog Hacho. She goes to the bathroom and starts hitting the pipes in anger, noticing that the water in the sink moves. When she does, desperate to get Hidd3n's attention, she keeps hitting the pipes, but he doesn't notice the ripples. Hidd3n then begins to carve the wall but breaks the dynamo light, leaving her in darkness. She hears a noise and goes to a mirror, where she sees Hidd3n bringing Fabiana home for the first time. She collapses, devastated, as she watches Hidd3n and Fabiana together. She mutters, "Hidd3n, please don't do this," and cries as the speakers play their moans. The next morning, Bellin yells at Fabiana, calling her names. This is the first time Fabiana hears the noises from the drain. Bellin realizes Fabiana might be her only chance to escape, so she tries to communicate with her but fails at first while carving the wall. Bellin finds a thick metal plate behind the concrete. She starts manipulating the water temperature to get Fabiana's attention when Fabiana finds a lost key. Bellin bangs on the mirrors to signal her, but Fabiana ignores it later. Hidd3n receives a call about identifying a body after he leaves. Fabiana looks into the mirror and smiles, believing Bellin is dead, but Bellin says it's too early to celebrate. Fabiana fills the sink with water to test if it moves again. When it does, she realizes someone is trying to communicate with her. She asks questions to find out who it is and discovers it is Bellin. Behind the walls, Fabiana finds the secret door and starts to open it, but hesitates. She decides to keep Bellin locked up so she can remain the only woman in Hidd3n's life. The scene where Fabiana says sorry to Bellin replays, and Hidd3n asks about it. Bellin cries as she sees Fabiana hugging Hidd3n. Hidd3n that Bell's case is now his responsibility and warns him to be careful with what he does. He threatens Hidd3n if he harms Fabiana and gives Fabiana photos of Hidd3n with the violinist. Veronica Fabiana, tormented by recent events, fills the sink with water again to check on Bellin. When she gets no answer, she feels guilty for not freeing Bellin earlier and decides to let her out. The door opens, and Fabiana finds Bellin unconscious on the bed. Bellin wakes up, attacks Fabiana with a bottle, and takes the keys. She locks Fabiana in the hidden room and leaves a photo of Hidd3n and herself in the mirror. Bellin then learns from the answering machine that the German lady who owned the mansion has passed away and her family wants to sell the house. This means only Bellin and Fabiana knew about the hidden room. Bellin leaves the house, and Hidd3n arrives, finding the key but unsure of its purpose. A few days later, Bellin finds peace at the beach. The final scene shows Fabiana still trapped in the hidden room, hitting the glass. The only resident left in the mansion is Hans the dog. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe for more daily videos. See you in the next video. Hey!